If you're just finding me, I'm telling the story of how I left the job that I worked at for 14 years very unexpectedly without a plan. I retrained for a new career. I started my own business, which survived COVID. I applied for citizenship of a country I've never visited. I retrained for another new career and started another business, and now I'm working on moving to Italy. Part 7 of the story. I have just realized that this arrangement I have where I'm subletting a space from someone else to run my business out of is starting to not work out. The person I'm subletting from is talking about sort of other plans for the space that don't really respect my inhabitants. So I'm looking for my own space and I find something about 3 blocks away, which I think that's really great because it's close and all my clients should be, willing to go 3 more blocks and it's easy for them to find still. And I start making arrangements to move. I'm like running around buying water heaters and furniture and all the stuff with the money that I've managed to save now that my business is actually working and people are coming to me. Um, I am doing all this and it should be for me, I feel like that should have been like a pretty exciting time. And unfortunately, I was kind of quickly starting to be a little bit stressed about it because, for one thing, the building that I had been subletting in, the manager and the crew that worked there were always really like nice and accommodating and professional and polite to me. And the new place that I'm moving into, there are just all these little things coming up that are making me kind of uncomfortable. Like when I'm signing the lease, which is something I've never done before, I've never signed a commercial lease before. So I'm thinking, I don't really know how this works. But they're asking me for things like they want to see my bank accounts. And I was not comfortable with that. And I said so. And then they said, okay, no big deal. You don't have to show us. And I was like, that's like a really serious thing to ask someone to do if it's optional. It seems like it should either be required and I should be able to understand why it's a requirement, or you don't really need it. So that alone made me really uncomfortable. Then I'm running around trying to do all this stuff and they're calling me for like, the water heater you brought us doesn't work. You need to bring us another one. So I have to like go pick it up and return it and get a new one and bring that back and all of this while I'm still working. And, it's to be expected that it's going to be chaotic. But we have a date set that I'm going to move in. And on that date, I have a van rented. I'm picking up all the furniture that I have at my house. And then I'm going to my old studio to pick up some boxes there. And I'm going over to the new place to move in. And I've hired somebody from TaskRabbit to help me with all of this. And I get there, and the manager meets me. And this is something that's scheduled. Like I have to schedule the day I'm moving in because they need to give me keys and they need to give me access to the alley so that I can use the freight elevator because you're not allowed to move in through the front doors. Fine. So they know I'm coming and they have my phone number. But once I get all this stuff upstairs, the manager meets me in the hallway and he says, oh, I'm so sorry, but your space isn't ready for you yet. But what we'll do is we have this space right next door that's empty. No one's using it right now. And we'll put everything in there and we'll lock it up. It'll be very safe. And you'll come back tomorrow and we'll move it next door and you'll be moved in. And I'm thinking, this is okay. It's not great. Like he could have let me know ahead of time, but at least there is a solution and it's one day I can totally deal with that. So the next day I come back to the office. I have some bags and potted plants with me that I didn't bring in the day before. And I'm sitting in the office with all this stuff and they say, oh, we're so sorry. Your space is still not ready. And I'm like, okay, well, this is becoming annoying and also it's making me nervous because again, I've paid these people for the space. I've moved out of my old space and obviously told that woman that I'm not going to be there anymore. And I need to work too. I closed for I think 2 or 3 days. I didn't book any appointments because I knew that I would be moving. So I go home again with all my stuff, and I'm pretty annoyed. And I go back again the next day, and we do the same thing. And now I'm really, really bothered. And again, I still don't know what to do. And they are not appreciating how bad this makes them look, or that me being upset is completely reasonable in the situation. So now I'm like, oh dear God, have I made a mistake? And that is still lingering when I realize that my phone, which has been ringing off the hook for months now, that I have been, while I'm running around doing all this moving and preparation stuff, I have been like still answering calls and sometimes having to ignore calls because I'm driving or I'm in the middle of something really important. My phone is suddenly silent. Like I haven't had a phone call all day long. And that is super, super weird. And I don't know what has happened. And what I discover is that when I went onto my Yelp page to change my address, what Yelp did with that change is, which they allowed me to do, they allow you to change your address. So I changed the address of my business, and what they did without notifying me in any way is that they marked my business closed permanently, and they created a brand new business page for me that has no activity, no reviews, nothing on it, and no one is seeing it anymore. And this is why all of a sudden my phone is dead. And so I called them and I learned that Yelp A does not have customer service representatives. They only have ad sales people. They are not there to help you. They are only there to sell. And I speak with a few different people, and at first I'm really not getting anywhere. And I'm telling them what's happened. I'm like, listen, I had this, I have a business. I moved to a new studio. I changed the address on my page, which you allowed me to do without there was nothing, no pushback. There was no notification that you were going to mark my business as closed. I did not close my business. I moved my business. And finally, someone is saying something to the effect of, well, we think that when you move a business to a new location, it changes the entire experience of your clientele. And what I was trying to explain is that I am the whole business. It's a very simple studio setup. It's not a freaking amusement park. It's not a nightclub. You're not there for the ambiance. You're there for me and the services that I provide. And the last guy that I talked to was nice enough to take the time to look at the old page and look at all the reviews, and every single one of them says my name, and he got it. And he was like, okay, let me see if there's something I can do. And he managed to get them to reinstate the old page with all of the reviews, all of the activity. Although it's not as if it wasn't like magically healing. It didn't just pop up to the top of the list again right away. It was down kind of far, and it still wasn't getting a lot of attention. And so now I have basically my greatest fear is coming true, which is that I would sign a long-term agreement. I signed a year-long lease. And my business is suddenly back to where it started, where I'm not getting any attention. And I do have more clients now, and that's good news. But I still rely on new clients a lot. And I am terrified. I cannot believe this is happening. But I do now have still a little bit of money saved after the move. And I just am sort of, and I don't have the dog walking and pet sitting business anymore. I let that go when I got really busy. And so I am really, really, really angry at the whole situation. And I don't really know what to do. I kind of just tried to hang out and hope that people would call more frequently than they had been. Like I hoped that now that the page was back up, it would start to get more attention. There would be momentum and that I would get all the way back up there again. That never happened. I never ever was as busy again as I was in the period before I moved. And it is what it is. But still, my business survived for 13 years. So stay tuned to hear more about that. If you enjoy the story and you want to follow along, please subscribe and please like the video. Thank you.